Hey y'all. So I know different background tonight. I'm over at my ex's house. Just got off of work and thought this would be a good topic for the blog tonight. The thing is, he's not in his room right now. I'm just gonna come out and say it, but I have PTSD. Now, I know most people are like, you've never said anything about serving in the military or anything like that, and that's the only time you get PTSD. Well, no, actually, it's not. PTSD, you can get it after a traumatic life event. For me, I'm sorry, this video is going to probably feature a lot of crying. And I do want to issue a trigger warning because that's why I'm making this video tonight. I was triggered. Like I said, I have PTSD. It's from my ex-husband. I know, pretty young to be married and divorced already. But I was married. Stupid mistake, probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. And my ex used to beat me, and he would rape me when I wouldn't willingly have sex with him, and I've gotten better. And it's been 6 years since we've been divorced. 7 since we've stopped. Since I got out of the house the place I was living with him at. But tonight was kind of a rough night at work, and I don't blame my ex at all for this, for setting me off like he did tonight. But it was a rough night at work for him. Things that should have been done weren't done, and I've learned how to cope with it better. I've learned how to not, every time somebody yells, I start, having a panic attack and start, flashing back to my ex-husband. But so I've come a long ways with my PTSD. And there are some times that it still does act up, like tonight. And quite honestly, this is probably one of the few times you guys are going to see me cry. But so I have actually been diagnosed by a counselor before. It was one of those things through school. So I'm going for a napkin or something to blow my nose with here. I keep them in my coat. Extras from work and bowling and stuff. But so I have been diagnosed by a counselor. When I registered for school, they had us take a test to kind of like see where we were and everything, and after the test they had a little survey, kind of like, what, if there's anything you might need help with, we'll help you get that. And on it, one of the questions was, is there something in your life that you may need counseling over? I said yes. I didn't say anything more than yes on it. And when I talked to my advisor at school, I kind of, explained a little bit more. It's like, it's stuff that happened with my ex-husband, and I need to talk to somebody about it. I know I do. Because I was just getting worse. and I still have my moments where, it kicks in, and so, I mean, I did talk it out with my counselor at school. He actually is a licensed counselor, and him and I worked through a lot of the stuff I needed to work through. I stopped seeing him, which might have been a bad idea, but I stopped seeing him when he pretty much told me that my ex, the one that I usually talk about, that he was a bad dad for circumstances he can't control. At the time, he had one of his two boys out of state. Mom wouldn't let him talk to him. That has changed, thank God. And the other one, the grandma he's living with won't let him see him. And he pays child support, and that's it. But he can't see him. I have a scratch in my arm. I don't know how I got it. Sorry, my arm itched, and I just noticed there was a scratch there. So I did talk to a counselor about it, and we did figure out I do have PTSD, that there are going to be things that are going to trigger me and all of that, and like I said, tonight was one of those nights. And I have gotten better. My ex even admits I've gotten better. Because, like I said, it used to be, somebody would start yelling and I would start freaking out, and start crying and hiding in a corner and, praying that the beating wouldn't be that bad this time. And my ex has gotten pissed at Burke, and, it hasn't bothered me that much. It really hasn't. He's gotten pissed, he's yelled, he's screamed, it didn't bother me that much. But for some reason tonight, it really bothered me. He got pissed off because things weren't getting done, and it just, he was throwing things and yelling and screaming, and I'm pretty sure part of it has to do with the fact that he's quitting smoking. He is using Chantix, but so far he just, especially tonight, he just wanted a cigarette. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this video right now, is because I know he's not going to be up here anytime soon, and I can talk freely about this. But for some reason he was having issues, and it was just, something set me off tonight. I don't know what, I don't know why. I guess it just happens sometimes. I've gotten better. And as pissed off as he got, all I could think was, when's the beating gonna start? I kept to myself, I kept quiet. Anybody who knows me knows that I, especially at work, I joke, I try to keep the mood light, and I try to keep everybody smiling, and all of that, because I believe if we're happy, we're productive. At least I am. Well, by the time we closed and all of that, I just didn't care anymore. I really didn't. I didn't care if it took us, 20 minutes. I didn't care if it took us 3 hours. I didn't care when we got out of there, because I just knew I was gonna lose it when we did. And honestly, this would have been happening at home if I hadn't come over to his house tonight. And I'm sure people are wondering, well, why are you at his house? You two are together anymore? Honestly, him and I are forever gonna be friends. That's all there's to it. I can't get rid of him. He has to stay in my life. If he isn't, I'm gonna go crazy. But he's stuck with me forever. He just is. And, well, quite honestly, I've got I've got, this problem, and like I said, I don't know what set me off tonight, but it's real. These are not fake tears. I promise I hate crying. I really do. But something set me off tonight, and me being here is more his idea than mine. I wanted to just go home and avoid him. Because, like I said, I was just wondering, when's the beating gonna start? And with that being said, it's like, I couldn't take it. I kept quiet, I did what I had to do. I probably did some stupid things trying to get stuff done just because I wasn't going to ask for help. I wasn't going to I wasn't going to try to ask for help. I wasn't going to try to wait for, somebody to come rescue me. At least in my mind, that's what it was. I mean, with my ex, and with the fact that I do have PTSD and all of that, I have problems. So with my ex, if I needed help, I couldn't ask for it, no matter what it was. It could have been, hey, can you grab that before it falls? It would have to fall because I couldn't ask him for help. And then when it fell and if it broke, I got a beating for it. If I asked him for help, I got a beating for it. This might be a big problem because the other day at dinner, my grandmother brought up my ex. And how she hoped he, went to heaven and everything after he killed himself. Well, you know what? I hope he didn't go to heaven. I hope he didn't go to hell because both are too good for him. I hope he rots in purgatory for what he did to me. And I'm serious. I really am. And everybody that him and I knew, they were all posting on his Facebook, and the only reason I knew was because I was stalking him through my mother. Because he blocked me on Facebook, and I couldn't see anything. So I was stalking him through Facebook, through my mother, on Facebook through my mother, and his page, and everything the family posted, and everything like that. It's like, you know what? I don't care. And everyone posted, like, oh, he was such a great guy, and I'm like, who the hell are you? Okay, now I'm gonna admit, no, I was not who the hell, it's who the fuck are you all talking about? It's not the man I knew. The man I knew that took the coward's way out of life. He admitted to me that he didn't know if he could keep from touching a little girl. I consider her my daughter because a friend of mine, my ex and I had an open relationship. It wasn't even a poly thing. It was just open. And that was more for him because he wanted to find, some other girl to screw. Because I wasn't enough for it. Well, I'm kind of glad I wasn't enough for him now. Really am. But he wanted another girl. I'm like, okay, go for it. I'm going to find another guy. So I had a friend that came over constantly. I don't know if he knew about the abuse at the time or not. I've never told him. He's never told me. And we leave it at that. So I've got, that I had him come over all the time, and I'd keep him, as long as I could at the house. Because he was what kept my ex from beating on me. If somebody was there, my ex wouldn't beat on me. We had roommates. They mostly kept in their bedrooms, so it didn't matter. He'd beat me anyway. If they were out of their rooms, he wouldn't touch me. If they were in their rooms, that's when he'd beat me. I learned to cry quietly. I don't make a sound, it'd be over quicker. But I had a friend, like I said, he was over a lot. It was like him and I were dating, kind of thing, he was over constantly, and I didn't blame him. I didn't care. He was over constantly. It gave me somebody to talk to, it gave me somebody to hang out with, and it kept my ex from beating me. Well, then the problem became when we brought his daughter over with us. Because he would get his daughter for a week, every other week he'd have his daughter, who I consider my daughter, because I was making food one night for her. We didn't have very much in the house, it's between paychecks, it's between, our other roommates' food stamps, and I just, I fixed what we had, which at that time was just, some ramen and lunch meat, just so that way I made sure she ate. I didn't care if I ate. I went without food before. It didn't matter that much now. So I was fixing dinner, and while I was fixing dinner for her, and she knew the stove was on, she could not cross the line, which is the little metal bar that separated the carpet from the flooring in the kitchen, which I have trouble saying, so I'm not gonna say it. It's like the fake tile kind of stuff. Yeah, I can't say the word, so I'm just gonna skip over it. But she had to stay on the carpeted side of that little metal bar, and she knew it, and she would, and she was standing there, and she was really hungry, and, dinner was almost ready, and she just called me, Mom, just, Mom, 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 and I'm just standing there, just keep stirring, just keep stirring, just keep stirring, just stirring the pot, just keep stirring the ramen. Her dad was sitting in the living room, not too far off the kitchen, like right there by the kitchen, laughing. That was the day she became my little girl. I mean, I already treated her like my daughter, but that was the day that it cemented she was my daughter. Well, when we had her over, the three of us adults would sleep on the couch. Usually, my ex would sleep in his chair on the couch, because we had one of those wraparound couches. So there was his chair, the middle two seats with the ottoman, and then my chair. He would sleep on his chair. My friend and I would sleep in the middle. And we would put the little one in the bedroom. Well, my friend and I both kept telling him, it's like, you can go sleep in the bedroom with her. It's okay. It's not a problem. Well, one night getting back from taking them home, I looked at my ex and I said, hey, my friend and I don't have a problem if you go in and sleep in the bed with her. And he looked at me and he said, nope, I can't. I'm afraid I'm going to touch her. Part of the reason why I don't know who this great man everybody kept talking about when he died. And now I'm getting a weird look because somebody just walked into his bedroom. So I think I will end this video here and talk to you all later.